off, some of your perimeter walls, we've got some compromised, separated retaining walls, most notably, but not limited to the front there, probably due to tree root movement. And so we'd like to see that taken care of. Probably one of the biggest things that I've seen, and the good thing is that we had the roofing contractor here at the same time, is that the roofing materials do need quite a bit of extensive work. Your main residence has a shingle roof, and there's several areas, most notably adjacent to some dormer windows or pop-out windows, upper windows, where the roofing materials, the sheathing and trim are completely deteriorated at the downside of those windows. That also holds true for the skylights on the north side of the residence, which are most notably above the bathrooms. They're very deteriorated, and moisture intrusion is pretty evident inside the structure as well. The shingle roofing material itself is actually a decent type of shingle, but it is over the top of some deteriorated structure that's going to need to be addressed. Along with that, you have 3 chimneys. I believe that only 2 of them are actual functioning chimneys, but the flashings around those chimneys are deteriorated to the point where there's visible moisture on the inside of the structure. So that's a little bit about the main residence in the roofing. The rear structures, most notably the studio and then the office structures in the back, have an asbestos roofing material on there that is an old, obsolete system, not to be walked on. It's brittle as eggshells. And of course, there's an air conditioning unit up there. It's pretty evident that the roofing materials have been walked on. They're cracked, deteriorated, displaced, which has exposed the substrate. We've got visible moisture damage at the eaves and drip edges due to moisture making it in underneath that roofing material. So the roofing contractor is probably going to have recommendations for you there. My recommendation is find a specialist about that. You're dealing with probably an abatement contractor with an asbestos type roof, but it is deteriorated in quite a state of decline. So that's going to be probably on your roofing contractor's report as well. And I will definitely make note of all that for you. Going forward, pretty neat place to say the least. They did some pretty nice work to it. You do have, let's see, we have 3, 4, 5, 6 air conditioning systems on the residence. Out of those 6, 4 of them need maintenance. The 2 main AC units, split systems that are on the main residence are not cooling down at all. The older unit that's for the rear office spaces, the upper and lower office spaces, that one is working fine, but again, it's something we couldn't get to because of the location on the asbestos roof. The air conditioner, which is quite a bit older for the studio in the rear, is actually working very well. And then one of the 2 window units in the lower bedrooms in the rear office structure is not functioning. So we do have some air conditioning issues there that are going to require some maintenance going forward. There are several areas around the residence where we have moisture stains, moisture damage, most notably on some columns around the patio areas. Let's see here, let me get forward here. We have quite a bit of moisture damage between the breezeway in the rear there, between the studio structure and the office structures. Moisture damage around doors, wooden siding, door frames, and rafters. So that's going to have to be repaired. It's in quite a state of rot, if you will. So just bear with me. I've got about 200 pictures of your property here.
I'm sure I'll be getting the report later.
Give me just a little bit of time on this one. So it did have, I guess, some pool or a pond or some type of structure and a lot of that infrastructure is still around, but it's been terminated. So you'll see that labeled throughout the property. We do have some cracking in the hard surfaces that
Where was that
we'll
located?
point out.
Was that exterior or was that in that sunroom area?
It's in the exterior, in the sunroom, around the sunroom porch, that area also. Now, if we get down to the actual main residence structure, the structure is built on old stone walls, which those stone were quarried from A Mountain. It's an old stone structure. The areas that I can visibly see, I cannot get into the crawl space underneath here. Is just no access. But the mortar is spalling or peeling away at multiple areas, which has allowed some of those stones to shift. Therefore, I have to recommend to you, along with some of the other cracks, visible cracks throughout the residence, you should consult a structural engineer on this without a doubt. This is something that it has shifted, it has moved. There's one area underneath, there's a small access under the refrigerator area in the kitchen that I can pop my head into, and they actually went in there with a metal post or column and are supporting a wall, and at the base of that wall there's like a 4-inch gap. So they've had some things going on here before. I want you guys to make sure that you're not getting into something that's going to continue to move. And for the most part, I just really don't have any way to crawl through there and access all of that. But I have several photos I've taken from screened ventilation ports and so forth on the outside that I can share with you there. So that's on the foundation there. The rear structure is actually not in too bad a condition. We did have some valves and so forth that are leaking and dripping, pretty common maintenance type things like faucets and so forth. Water heaters are a little bit older, 2003 and 2005. They are producing hot water. One is a gas unit for the main residence, the other is electric. Your rear residents are all electric back there. We ran across a few valves that had calcification as a consequence of leaks. Your electrical panels that we've run into, for the most part, they are perfectly wired in the back for the office space and studio areas back there. We did run across some of the wiring in there that has been improperly terminated, that is loose inside the box and doesn't have wire nuts on it. For previous connections, I imagine that probably went to a previous pool issue or pool panel. And we have, I don't know, about 150 bathrooms in the place. So a few issues here and there with leaky toilets, valve handles missing. Some of the bathrooms don't have outlets in them, those types of things. And so I would walk through with a contractor and via my report, and you could probably identify those, and going forward, if it's going to be rented space, put those in as appropriated. Let's see here. We do have, I did notice that on both structures you have sprinkler systems. And those are some systems that I don't look at. I mean, they're pretty vast and they look to be well installed, but I would have a specialist look at those to make sure that they are up to current standard. And so you're not hit with any surprise there as far as those being in functional condition or in condition that would be in compliance to current standard. Yeah, getting back to our electric panels, a lot of them are not properly labeled. We have the electric panels for the main residence. We noticed that the one upstairs in a mechanical closet has a double wire breaker, and then there's one breaker that's tripped. It's a 20 amp breaker that doesn't reset. It pops when you try to reset it. I'm not quite sure where that's connected. It says dormer, whatever that means. I don't know if that's some type of an automated dormer device that opens up. I really, it's a bit of an enigma. So I'm just kind of looking through here, essentially plumbing, various plumbing leaks, and of course various items with the air conditioning that it's pretty obvious that they need to be serviced. Another kind of big area that I'm kind of would like to have you guys focus on, and I'm sure you probably do this, but I ran a lot of water here, tubs, toilets, faucets, fixtures. It all seems to drain, but I cannot visibly see the condition of those pipes inside and out to the street hub. So therefore, there's multiple cleanouts on the property. I truly advise that you have those video scoped during the inspection as well. There could be some old cast pipes or clay pipes underground that are in less than admirable conditions. So it's just something I cannot visibly see there. It does look like most of the plumbing throughout the residence is copper, some brass, some galvanized. I have several photos in the crawl space where I managed to squeeze my shoulder and my arm to take some pictures for you.
Appreciate that.
You know what? You deserve it. You guys work really hard for this stuff, and like I said, I'm really. Yeah, some of these drain pipes, it's obvious that they have leaked, and I have no idea how they got anybody in there to possibly repair those. Yeah, the gas piping throughout looks to be in great shape. Now, it's such some of your flooring throughout the residence, and I know that Samantha's going to have a pest contractor come and frequent the property here. It's visibly pest damage. Some of your beautiful wooden flooring throughout here. I don't know about repairs to that or how that gets treated. So that's something that they will have to advise you on. Within the kitchen, we did notice that in the sink cabinet, there's evidence of moisture staining and black bioorganic growth inside there. And so we had some moisture staining on some of the wood flooring at the front of the dishwasher. I believe that that is due to a previous dishwasher. This one appears to be not the original one, a little bit newer. We ran the dishwasher and I pulled the plate on the bottom. It is not leaking. Again, getting back to some of the toilets, we have on the north side bathrooms, there's one bathroom that's got like a Roman tub shower in there, and the tile throughout there are cracked, deteriorated. I would imagine that that's probably leaking down into the substrate. It butts up to another bathroom. Those toilets are wall mounted, and both toilets are leaking at the base.
Okay.
You kind of looked like you were in slow motion there. It's all right. So again, we'll make a punch list of things there going forward within the bathrooms that we feel need to be repaired by a qualified plumber or licensed contractor or an appropriate licensed person.
By the way, if you need him to look at it.
Hold on one second. Sorry. Just need to reset here. All right. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm back.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. And essentially on the inside, where those the flashings are deteriorated around the chimney and around those dormer windows, there's evidence, and the skylights, there's quite a bit of evidence of moisture intrusion, repairs. Above the bathrooms, those drywall materials above there and around the skylight are visibly black and deteriorated sections of moisture damaged drywall material. There's moisture damaged drywall material around the entry ceiling around the skylight. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the loft ceiling. And around the ceiling in the sunroom, if you will.
Okay.
Yes. Essentially, it's that's pretty much where we're at as far as the major part of that. There's again some things here in the bathrooms, most notably the ones downstairs on the north side that really are going to need to be addressed. Toilets leaking, cracks, open grout joints in the shower, moisture damaged drywall material. The ground fault outlets do not function as intended around the sinks. Pretty much items of safety and daily use that I think going forward you kind of wanted to see those in functional condition for your residents here. And I certainly will outline those and supply you with multiple photos to kind of validate what we're looking at there for you. Okay? What questions do you have for me?
I think probably everything you've covered. I mean, I know it's an old house, so old houses have some issues.
Have very quirky things that people, they put together and conceal, which unfortunately, we just do the best we can with what we can visibly see and turn on or off. And I think it's quite enough that merits having the contractors come out and do their bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the structural will definitely do those 2 AC units in the main building are of concern. Probably especially on a day like today for you guys.
Oh my gosh, this weekend you're welcome to come and visit. Yeah.
I'm getting in San Diego. I was actually just driving into the office and there was an ad for some comedy thing or something. It was called like Hot as July Comedy. And I'm like, they want to see what hot feels like. San Diego in July probably isn't it.
Oh yeah. I mean, we're supposed to set a record this weekend, 114, 115.
Wow.
It hasn't been hot. It hasn't been that hot since my son was born. That's 26 years ago. That's hot. And that's just Tucson. That's not even the folks up there in the Valley of the Sun in Phoenix, they're going to be miserable. Absolutely miserable. They don't even let the planes take off when it's that hot. So you can't leave.
No lift.
No, that's right.
Okay, so I think that are definitely some of the bigger ones that jump out. I'll talk to Chris. Maybe we'll try to get a look at plumbing. I mean, I just visually looking at it, I assumed that probably all the outlets, switches, some of the those items will be done. Our thought was to try to get the main house basically safe. But I think building 2, we're probably going to do a full gut. So roof, interiors, fixtures, bathrooms, I think was in our plan anyway.
I got you. Okay.
The structural, of course, is one of the bigger long-term things. I don't have any delusions about buying, however old this house is and everything being perfect.
Well, it's been here for quite a while. I mean, that was the original footprint. It's a concern. Yeah.
Yeah, and part of it,
that,
part of the charm also is the age, as you saw that.
oh my gosh.
The main house architecturally is pretty cool.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, it really is neat. But, we want to make sure that you guys are satisfied with, our end of it, and also that, it's a property that, when you go to turn it over sometime down the road, it's going to be pretty much maintenance free, and somebody's going to get a good property, as an income. And but it sounds like you guys have a great plan for it.
Cool. Well, I think that probably answers my questions. I may have a few when I look over the report, but
Okay.
I think I got all the big stuff.
feel free to give me a call, okay? I'm going to put Samantha back on.
All right, great.
Chris is outside taking photos. Do you want to talk to him before he's almost done? Or do you want to just touch base with him later?
I can probably just touch base unless there's something specifically if he wants to see how good I look, or you can just.
Yeah, he probably is interested in what you're wearing. Let me take a screenshot and that should.
I'll send him a selfie. Tell him I'll text him a
Yeah,
snap.
send him a selfie. Then he can save it. That's better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And you can put little cartoons on it. You send him like a Snapchat. All right, we're on the same page. Thanks.
All right. See ya.
Okay,
Goodbye.
Bye. Thanks, guys.
you're welcome.